Welcome back. The stock on our radar, as we just told you before the break, is Indoco Remedies. It is in focus as the pharma giant Teva has received US approval for the generic version of the eye drug Azopt. Indoco has partnered with Teva to manufacture this drug at their facility in Goa. To know more about the opportunity, we have with us Aditi Kare Panandikar, Managing Director, Indoco Remedies. Aditi, good morning, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, just that, what does this Teva opportunity mean to you in terms of revenues, and has it already started ticking? You're already manufacturing, I assume.
Yeah, Lata, good morning, and thank you for having me here today. As you said, we are not just manufacturing for Teva, we are their partners, and the entire development for the product, which is a very complex generic, has been done entirely at Indoco Remedies Limited. That is a matter of great pride for me. Yes, we have sent some batches of launch quantity already to the US, and Teva launched the product about 24 hours ago, which is how we could make the release. What the opportunity means for Indoco, very clearly, it identifies us as a very serious player when it comes to the R&D activities and manufacturing of complex generics. As you know, Indoco is a comparatively smaller company compared to some of the giants in the pharma space in India, and also a late entrant in US. And it has always been our strategy to be focused on niche therapies, difficult to do formulations, and brinzolamide, its approval, and that fact that it's the only generic in the market, not for want of time. Others have not been able to do it. That for me is a matter of great pride for myself and the company.
Okay, Aditi, hi, good morning. So you've told us what the qualitative opportunity could be, but can you quantify it for us? I mean, what does it mean in terms of a revenue opportunity for you, and any visibility in terms of competition, and what are the other opportunities that are lined up?
Yeah, so the Azopt market is $184 million.
Okay.
We are the only generic. So we would have to do those calculations on how much it would get genericized, and then what kind of market share, knowing that Teva is our business partner and they do not do anything less than 20%. But I think in this case, with the only generic, we should expect much, much more of the market for Teva and us. What it means for Indoco, we have a profit share arrangement with Teva. But considering the amount of, it's been a cost and profit share, and there has been quite a lot of investment from Teva side, especially on the clinicals, etc. So the margin accrual or the royalty accrual to Indoco possibly will, in a big way, start after a couple of years. At this point, we shall be accruing revenues from manufacturing the product. Your second question on what kind of competition. Yeah, so let me just say this, that the biggest thing for us for brinzolamide is that we are vertically integrated on the product, and Indoco makes the API, the active drug as well. And I can tell you that considering there have been quite a lot of players who have taken research quantities of the API from us, I do know that dearth of generics is not from trying or want of trying. Okay. So I really feel it's a great advantage for Indoco Teva that we've been able to develop and manufacture and launch this product, which is such a difficult product combination.
Okay. Now, maybe talk numbers, Aditi. There's a seminal improvement in margins. Is this maintainable? Now, should we categorize you in that 18-20% margin bracket?
Lata, you certainly should categorize me and Indoco into the 18-20% bracket. It's been an odd year of sorts, if you know what I mean. 35% of my Indoco's top line in India comes from respiratory and anti-infective categories, which have really taken a hit for the market as well as us. We've been salvaged with the margin partly because of the first quarter where expenses on India business were very low. Having said that, it is our international business which has really taken off this year, which has helped us do much better in margin. 18% margins are definitely sustainable going forward, looking at everything we have done. As you know, last year we were at 11.5. So we had promised the market close to 14. An odd year of sorts has helped us do an 18. But a lot of corrective measures across the organization, efficiencies and efficiency parameters being re-looked at both in India business and in manufacturing for international. So I do feel an 18% can be sustained.
Okay, but still talking a little bit more about the India business, there's been weakness there, right? I mean, the company has been struggling. Revenues were down 12% year on year. 9 months was down almost 9% year on year. Is it because of the large exposure that the company has to acute therapies? And what could the average revenue trajectory be, particularly for India?
Right. So as you correctly said, our top four segments in India are stomatological, anti-infective, respiratory, and GI. So other than stoma, which is on a 10% growth, even in a difficult year like this, the other three categories have been reeling for a better part of the year. Anti-infectives, respiratory in particular, are really down. And that has caused the India business to report a minus 8% for 3 quarters. What we have done though, let me tell you this, is month on month, we have been improving. So if you look at the numbers, even in respiratory and anti-infective, on a month on month basis, we are closing the gap, but finding it difficult to grow in those therapies. However, Indoco is has a basket of products which is heavily de-risked. So we have a very big basket of stomatologicals. We are in ophthal, we are in gynac, we are in vitamins and minerals, nutraceuticals. We are also in cardio-diabeto. We are in ophthal. So all the other businesses other than respiratory anti-infectives are turning around, and that augurs well for us in numbers in the coming quarters as well.
Okay. Just a couple of news points. The warning letter for the Unit 1 facility in Goa, has that been resolved? I mean, for that, I guess inspections will have to restart.
Right. So Lata, we've completed all the updates as we had promised to FDA. We've also written to them and invited them to come in for an audit. We are eagerly awaiting, and in this case, since there was a warning letter, I expect there will be a physical audit. And we would welcome that. So we're waiting for that actually.
Okay.
Just to put things on record, our manufacturing and supply from plant one is not at all disrupted. We have 2 products being supplied from there today, and they continue freely. So it's not an import alert. The only thing that suffers really is moving files inside FDA for the products filed from that site. We are fortunate that many of them are futuristic. So keeping fingers crossed for the FDA audit.
But have they started re-inspection at all, US FDA?
I'm sorry?
Has the US FDA even started re-inspections?
Yes, they have. There were a few audits which happened virtually.
Okay.
And of late, there has been the India team doing physical audits, as we are hearing.
Okay.
We hope they will come down to the facility. Of course, they have many parameters such as, are you making a COVID-19 related drug product, sort of to put you on priority.
Okay.
So I believe they are behind in schedule, but we will be doing maximum effort to convince them to come down and audit that.
You have received some approvals for an injectable product in the US as well. Just wanting to understand what kind of timeline are we looking at in terms of the new launches, and what would this mean for the US business in terms of revenue growth? I mean, it has been very strong year on year.
Yeah, so we spoke a lot about the India business and what kind of trouble we've been in with it. So let me just tell you that the lockdown period was in fact one of the best periods we've had in the last 3 years for the US business. So we had close to 6 approvals, either our own or through our partners. And we've been able to launch close to 9 new products in the US in lockdown this year. That includes several injectables, a few solid orals, and a couple of ophthalmics, as you know now.
Oh.
So it's been quite fantastic. We have close to 30 products yet to be approved by the US. ANDAs filed awaiting approval. As you know, we had the last 3 years of a pain point for some of our sites in Goa, and the regulatory approvals were delayed. But now we are really on our way, and US should continue to do well from here.
Okay. You told us that margins, you may be in the 18% bracket. What is revenue growth looking like? Should we take what, 15% as a possibility in the years to come? What is your chosen range?
15% is the minimum we need to do, Lata. We have to do a lot of catching up.
Okay.
If you know what Indoco was 5 years ago, first have to get back to the EBITDA levels of 20%, which we had delivered before the
Okay.
US
The
issues.
FY19 issue, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay. So, you told us, I just wanted one more word on this whole PLI scheme. I mean, I know it's very, very early days yet, but a lot of people are talking about big potential there for many companies. Have you been also identifying this whole opportunity and anything that you can quantify?
Yeah, so the first part of the PLI, which was announced largely for the API businesses, the active pharmaceuticals, they were really concentrating on those molecules which are manufactured, have a high manufacturing or where we are dependent on China for availability. In that basket of products, we really had just one and not very potential. But the second round of PLI, which has been announced for, which will include formulations and in particular complex generics, definitely looks promising for us. We are waiting for finer details on that policy to see how Indoco can, encash that going forward.
Okay. So that calls for another interview after those decisions are made. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Aditi, for joining us with all those details. Okay, so that's Indoco taking one step into the big league with this partnership with Teva. We'll just take you through the past financials. They went through a bad patch in 18-19, and that will show up. As you can see, FY19 was a tough year. I think they even reported loss in that year, but have since come up. The last bar is the 9-month bar. So that's the margin picture. As you can see, 18 is to be counted in the 18% range is definitely striking a new paradigm if they are able to maintain it. And I think finally you'll get the profit trend. There you are. That was the difficult year, 18 and 19. And after that, they have made their way up.
And also her body language, her
Yes.
commentary was so positive, right? I mean, they have a whole host of new launches and the US business has been doing very well for them. So that is Indoco Remedies. By the way, very helpful valuation picture there as well. Quite inexpensive compared to many of its peers in the same space. So that is one stock perhaps.
Nirmal
to
Bang
look at.
very positive on this stock. Okay, with that we go back to the markets. Anuj, what have you spotted so far? It's looking so steady. Has the market forgotten this is an FNO expiry day?
Yeah.
I mean, Wednesday, but it's expiry day.
Yes, but just a word on that valuation picture that you read. The reason it trades cheaper is because it shows this kind of volatility in
Yes,
earnings.
exactly.
If you have Divi's Labs, people will pay 40 times because there's no volatility. So this 16 times looks interesting. What if you were looking at last year's numbers? So all of a sudden that will
Yeah,
change.
the point is whether you can take the bet that it has turned the corner.
Yeah.
And then you're getting it cheap. Now, then you have to take a call on the
Exactly.
management whether this is really turning the corner.
Yes.
This is where I guess analysis or good analysts score over.
Absolutely, and that is where perhaps in India at least the most